I am officially calling this meeting to order at 6:05. First order of business is a roll call. All trustees are present except for trustee Bockhorst, who is excused, and President Rosick is appearing via telephone. Sarah, has this meeting been noticed in accordance with applicable law?
The meeting has been posted and noticed according to law.
So the first agenda item that we have on this evening is to discuss the proposed 2020 initiatives. Rebecca, will you be taking the lead on this discussion?
I'd be happy to, or however you would like to go about doing them.
Why don't you intro to lead us into the discussion?
Okay.
And then we can start the discussion.
Sure. Well, for purposes of the meeting memo, I wanted to highlight some of those items that were collaborative or involved other groups to kind of set a stage for just a more global perspective, to see how we could start working our way down the list. One of the things that I think our staff was thrilled to see was that there are a number of components relative to agenda and document management. And we're gonna actually be seeing an RFP come out for both agenda management and document management on August 5th.
Correct.
So behind the scenes, we've been spending a lot of time kind of taking a look at different opportunities that are there and then how we can put this back in a way that's manageable and cost effective moving forward. So I discussed a number of those things. There was one, there was a trustee Amenta had suggested kind of in the interim creating in single PDFs of minutes by year, so they're in a more searchable format, so that's something we're gonna take steps to just do now, to make that available. There was also,
videos.
yeah, I'm sorry, my screen just froze, there we go. There was a video indexing initiative, which is something, that we believe should be evaluated with the proposals for agenda management. Improving the sound system in the board and committee room, so with agenda management software, there's usually a video capability or a way to index from your meetings, along with meeting materials. So that's one of the things that we'd want to have the vendors, competitively propose on. So we had some different components in front of us. It's very likely that when we look at agenda management and if we commit to some of those features, we will then need to upgrade, our videoing technology. Well, it's been really good and Tyler's done a great job of giving us video capability and a budget. You know, we're anticipating that those companies may also have the recommended suggestions for how we need to update our equipment.
And would those vendors have the cameras and software and like all together in a package? Is that how that
They
typically
may
works for
not,
them?
we may get those separately and work with IT or potentially work with them, depending on which vendor we solidify that.
Rebecca, remind me, those two microphones, microphones for you and the village attorney, are those still not functioning?
They are not functioning.
Oh, okay. I will speak louder.
Yeah, did you say no?
No, that was the answer, yes. Correct.
We could address those in the budget if we wanted to, so that at least get one functioning one.
But I wonder if or Rebecca was saying, and what I just asked was that would all kind of be encompassed in the agenda management process, right?
Yeah, my only concern would be, when Tyler and I, got quotes from Civic Web, I think it was, or whatever our current provider was, it was way too expensive to go through that to the service. So if that happens, that the provider is very expensive, but they provide ideas like offline storage or whatever that was cheaper, that may be the second or the first option that Rebecca said, which would go with our IT. So if that happens, it means you're not in the negative, and that's the only reason I mentioned about the phone.
Are we talking about things as they come, I mean, how,
Yeah.
do you want to let her get through her thing,
Yeah,
or
let's-
should we just start talking to come up, or what do you want to do?
That's a good point. Let's let Rebecca get through the introduction and then have full discussion on various points within it.
Okay.
I'm okay with it.
The other thing that dovetails into agenda and document management was the minutes initiative. This is something after review, if amenable to the board, we'd recommend implementing this if it was for an interim period from now until the implementation date that we would have agenda management, because we're hoping that that will reconcile any issues that we have in that area. With the understanding, because we would have to pick a time in terms of when we documented a motion, so that someone could then correspond and look at the tape. So, the clerk had just suggested that we would document a motion following motion approval or denial. So then it would be an easy way, because sometimes, we all know, sometimes our discussion on motions can be a little bit more lengthy, so we don't wanna do it at the start but the end. So at least it would give you a reference point then, so then you could go back and do the tape.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the suggestion, I don't know,
So in the minutes, you would acknowledge the time at which we took the vote,
correct.
and then that would lead people.
Yeah,
Oh,
it'd be time on clock, so you'd have to kind of guesstimate.
But
around.
it's a lot closer than we
Yeah.
have now. Oh, that's,
Are we talking about?
Are we talking about, because it's not a question.
Yeah, let's, Rebecca, is it easier for you if we let you get through, if we have to get through kind of the broad categories and then talk about them one at a time, or do you wanna go through the whole thing?
I am open to doing it either way. It
Let's-
seems like maybe we talk about one,
Yeah, let's
if that's, since we're on topic.
yeah, actually, let's do that, let's talk about let's get through kind of the broad categories and then talk about the broad categories, like right now, let's discuss agenda and document management.
Okay.
Do that.
So, the only hashtag under that left is, the minutes initiative, and whether that's something that the board would wanna proceed with in the meantime. So again, to recap, the minutes initiative was one where we would keep, the motions within the scope of the agenda, within the minutes, and focus on the motions, the voting, and then we would document the time that the votes happened. So that, in such case, someone wanted more information about, or wanted to listen to the longer discussion, then the time would be noted, and then someone could go back and review the time on the tape.
So let's open this first topic for discussion.
I have my hand up, so whatever.
President Rosick, you're up.
Thank you, I can't, call into that. For me, and I don't know if it's possible now or later for minutes, the main thing, if you can document the minutes for the motion before, it would be better to say when the next one starts, which is what, 5 seconds after the motion? Because most people say, oh, I'm interested in historic preservation ordinance, and they wanna know when it starts, because it doesn't make sense to go to when it finishes and then have to rewind. So in the long run, it's probably better to know when the agenda item starts on the video. It can be less frustrating, I think we're gonna get a lot of complaints. And I think it can be in the interim, I might be wrong, but if there's a motion on an item and you have that time, you should be able to say, 20 seconds later, or whenever, when the next one starts. So that's my thought is, I don't care when it happens, but the long solution probably should be when it starts.
So,
Okay,
Trustee Mental?
I would like to say something. If the initiative is to make the minutes very brief and just list motions, votes, but designating the time and then relying on the video, but our current videos are very difficult to hear. You're proposing delaying improvement in the sound system. So the videos are not very useful right now. So I think getting rid of minutes in favor of videos, unless you wanna move forward quicker on upgrading our videos, which I would support, I do not support relying on videos, because the videos are not very good right now.
Is that being proposed? I thought it was just in addition to the minutes we have today, they've added time.
No, they're saying the minutes are gonna just say, like like school board minutes, they just say the motion and the vote, and then there would be a time, and you would go back. I assume that's what you're saying, correct?
that's my understanding of it.
But can I?
But this is your recommendation, right?
No, so what I did is I reviewed all of the initiatives that were submitted and tried to group them where they made sense and talk with different trustees about, like what's included within an initiative, how does that work? So in here, I say if amenable to the board, because I don't know what you as a board would like to do, but you're reviewing trustee initiatives, so if you were, the staff just generally took a look to say, okay, well, if we were gonna implement this, what would we do? Is there any
Okay,
suggestions?
because I believe it was trustee Warren's initiative to make minutes simpler.
And
Right.
just,
But this connection to making minutes simpler and using videos, but postponing improving I don't know, it just doesn't seem to make
yeah,
sense.
and I agree, part of my recommendation was as we improve the videos, I don't think,
Right,
I think that the ideal state for this initiative is when we improve the video system, then we
Okay.
go to these shorter minutes, because we
Oh,
want
okay.
people to be able to understand and see what's going on in the meetings. So I think the two go together, so I wouldn't
Okay.
wanna jump improvement of the video, shortening of the minutes over improvement of the video. I think they should be done in conjunction with each other.
I want to just retract my statement for a second then. I totally disagree. I would never vote to support taking away written minutes, and even when the videos get approved. I would love to see a minute initiative where we talk about what should, if there's a nay vote, I remember saying at the beginning, maybe we say why, a statement of what their concern was, without using people's names or anything, but that discussion I'd love to have, but I don't think I would ever want the written minutes to be replaced because we have video. I think they're two completely separate tools that people use differently.
I would be concerned that there be enough description of the presenters if there was a report. So once we get these searchable minutes, that you can actually find something, because you can't really search on the videos. So if you want to look for something like, I don't know, the bid director or something, you can find them. So just a little completer than the motion, because not everything results in a motion. So.
and it would be great to have the, when you go to TOSA's website and you look on the agenda or the minutes, they'll say this was discussed, here's the board report, here's the supporting documentation, here's the consultant's report, here's the prior report on this that came about. There's a whole history, and you can hyperlink on everything. I mean, it's just all laid out so clearly.
It'll come with agenda management, because they'll set up your minutes like that, so all of the reports that you put in automatically feed to the minutes, which is perfect, right? Because then it's all there for everybody to see.
I mean, my issue, we desperately need an easier way to search through, our materials, to go back, and find history on things, and even just when you're curious about something. I mean, and, I support going ahead with agenda management. For the public in general, I'm not sure as a priority. It's more of an internal priority than a resident-driven priority, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I understand that sentiment of it may not be a resident priority, but I think that it is a priority for us to function better and for us to do our jobs better. So hopefully residents will see that as a priority, but I can definitely see where that's, it's not exciting,
Right.
agenda management. But it's really necessary, in my opinion.
Well, I think it's more efficient, and I also think that for the community's sake, people just give up. I mean, we can't even find their information on the web. So for transparency, and I know people are talking about that word a lot, I believe that, in my first mention, we need our documents to be more transparent. Now we're getting signed contracts, they need to be on the web. There's certain things that people would search for if they knew they had the capability to do it. And that really keeps on, government on.
So we're talking for 2020, so so we would do the RFP in 19 and actually implement in 20.
That's support that.
Mike?
But what about, okay.
Sorry.
I thought when we talked about this last year, it was a feeling we couldn't in 2020 because of the elections, there were too many elections.
So the idea is to bid document management and agenda management together, knowing they're probably gonna be two separate vendors that work together. With the implementation of making agenda management and the video piece for 20, because it's a tad smaller, and then doing full document management for other things in 2021. So they kind of go together, and we don't want to piece them separate, because we want to make sure they all kind of talk to each other, so that we are getting the piece out of it what we want to get out of it. But we could move forward.
21.
Okay.
Trustee Maher, were you,
I had no.
Rebecca, did you have something?
Well, so there's just one other added component that I just wanna throw out there, because it's a big part, I think, for you organizationally, is that you not only need this for the public and for the board, but you need it for the staff, because your organization will continue to transition. And it's not set up in a good, my perspective for you is where are we 5-10 years? And we need to get that done.
Yep, I'm 100% supportive.
I support it.
Yep,
Lot of,
yes.
lot of nodding heads in the room, so.
Yeah, it's great.
A lot of support for the general, so for agenda and document management, I'm seeing a lot of support for the general concept, but probably some tweaks within the recommendations.
Sure.
And some recommendations we won't take up, but I think the support for the general concept.
So I just have one question about, because the reason that we had talked about sort of pushing it back for 2020 was the, all of the elections and everything that's happening.
Mhm.
So is that something that you feel comfortable handling the RFP process and all of that, along with, everything else that's
So
happening?
ideally, we would like to RFP this year, so we'd have it for budget for 20,
Okay,
to start that work in 20. So, yes, it's a small undertaking, but the agenda side is not your full-fledged document management
Okay.
from a full village perspective.
Okay,
That piece
that's
will
the
be
bigger-
huge,
okay.
correct. And we'll constantly be working on that until we hit 2021. But I would hate for us to RFP for one and then realize that we should really look at them simultaneously to get the best piece.
Yes.
So,
I appreciate the forethought that went out, and I trust that you can manage it with what's coming up, and, it would be really nice to get a move on it.
and there will be a learning curve, so it'll just, it might be a Friday before the agenda's out instead of a Thursday. I mean, there will be pieces, but we'll get through it, so.
So if there's nothing else on the first topic,
Okay.
move us along to strategic